It's a golden opportunity for the rising stars of American motocross. A chance to ride on professional tracks in front of professional teams with tutelage from professional coaches. It's the first ever MX Sports Moto Scouting Combine. It's the MX Sports Moto Scouting Combine East, brought to you by the U.S. Air Force Special Warfare. MX Sports produces both the world's largest amateur motocross race, the Monster Energy National at Loretta Lynn's Ranch, and the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. And for years, the top teams have been asking for a bridge between the amateur and professional sides of racing. They want to test their up-and-coming riders on professional-level tracks and long, rough motos. For 2021, MX Sports has decided to do that, but with a twist. Not only holding a race at the pro track here at Ironman Raceway in Indiana, but gathering industry veterans as coaches to help further ease that transition from amateur racing to pros. So legends like Damon Bradshaw, Chad Reed, and Brock Glover are here to coach the riding aspect of the sport. The top brass of MX Sports is here to explain rules and regulations and how the schedule on the professional side will work. There's also coaching on the media side from the announcers, so the riders learn how to handle their podium interviews and TV time. There's a workshop for social media and YouTube and how riders can build their brand, and also figure out how to balance their media and series obligations as professionals while still keeping their racing schedule on track. There are also trainers both on the physical side and with specialties in nutrition, so the riders can understand both their training during the week and also how to handle race day. Gareth Swanepoel is the current trainer for the very successful Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha team, but he will be coaching riders from a variety of brands. The goal for the Moto Combine is to teach everyone to become better professionals, and then when they're there, they'll race against each other. But today, the goal is that everyone is in it together to improve their overall program. The United States Air Force even sent representatives here as the sponsor for the event, and a lot of these workshops were held on purpose to compress the riders' race day, because as a professional, riders are going to be pulled in so many directions. When do they eat? When do they rest? When do they talk to the media? When do they talk to their teams? How do they handle all that stress and still peak when it's time to race their moto? To talk to one of the coaches and trainers to find out more about that.
My name is John Wessling. I am a trainer. I train multiple sports, motocross being my favorite and the best one. I am here to help the amateurs try to make that transition from amateur to professional racing, which right now, most of the coaches here feel like it's a huge gap. So we want to bridge that gap, make it a little easier for them. You know, whatever we can do to help, whether it's helping them a little with nutrition, training off the bike. You know, we had guys like Chad Reed here with on the bike. So kind of the full spectrum of what it really takes on a race day.
Riders will learn a lot about nutrition and training on and off the bike. And next, they will meet their riding coaches. Stay with us. Time for amateur riders to meet professional coaches here at the Moto Scouting Combine. This young rider gets the legendary Damon Bradshaw as his coach. Here's Gavin Towers picking a number.
Brock.
He gets Brock Glover, the 6-time AMA National Motocross Champion.
Daxton, who you got? Chad Reed. All right.
Daxton Bennett gets Chad Reed, 2-time Supercross champion. There's Glover and Reed.
Chad.
Yeah. I like my team, brother.
I think Chad likes his team as well.
I'm excited to be here. I've only raced this race a few times, and every time I've raced it, it's been muddy. It rained a little bit this afternoon, but the track looks awesome. So I'm excited. You know, got a bunch of really fast image kids out here. I don't know if you call it your team, but my team that I have, I'm feeling good about. I think we can win the race and challenge for the top 5. So I'm excited to just really lend a hand. You know, like I kind of my advice was to him, like, tell me what you need tell me what you want to be stronger at, and I'll see if I can help you out. So I'm excited to, you know, be a part of the first ever one.
And pretty cool to see someone of Chad Reed's stature giving back to the sport. After the riders were randomly selected with their coaches, there's the lineup: Glover, Bradshaw, and Reed. The riders received their coaching assignments on Thursday evening, had a chance to meet their coaches, and then they work with them again in a compressed race day schedule on Friday, and that's all by design. Now, on the professional side, so much is crammed into the one-day racing format that they're trying to teach the riders that you've got to download every bit of information in the shortest, most efficient amount of time possible. And I can tell you from being part of this event, a lot of the riders are so nervous and so distracted they're maybe not taking in the information, but it's the only chance they're going to get to receive it. And you've got to take advantage of that. No different than a pro coming in from practice, quickly downloading about his motorcycle on the racetrack with his team, getting notes and feedback, and going back out and trying to improve in a short amount of time. Here's six-time AMA champion Brock Glover with his thoughts on the Combine.
So we're here at Ironman Raceway in beautiful Indiana, and this is awesome for the inaugural motocross Combine. We've got 25 of the top amateur racers from the eastern part of the United States here for, you know, it's kind of a tryout, very similar to what the NFL Combine is, and this is a place for them to showcase their talents. We've got team managers, we've got coaches like Chad Reed, Damon Bradshaw, and just myself too, and I'm honored to be one of those coaches. We've got announcers, Jason Wygant, Rob Bidos, just all the things that involve being a professional motocross rider. So these guys are going to get a taste of it, and they even got issued a hard card, so it's a big time deal for them.
Glover and young Gavin Towers exchanging notes, and we'll be right back with practice and racing from Indiana. America's top amateur motocross riders getting to learn the ropes of the pros here at the Scouting Combine. Here's Daxton Bennick.
Can't wait to go out first practice here at Ironman. Jack Sick. I've been here a couple years ago, but got a good group of AB kids, and it's gonna be fun.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. There's some cool hills here, so we're gonna learn 1.5.
My name's Noah Schuring, and my riding coach was Brock Glover. When we went back after this first practice, we talked about keeping my eyes up, and wherever my eyes are, that's where I'll go.
We mentioned how important the coaching aspect of this event is. Here's Brock Glover. We'll have him mic'd up, and you'll get to hear some of his notes on improving starts.
I mean, looking at an angle like that, you're going to see that lever move because
before the gate anyway.
Yeah, it's what triggers the gate, absolutely. So if you can see that, you're going to see it at an angle better than you are. Staring at something straight on and it moves, it takes your brain a split second longer to process the fact that it's actually moving. But at an angle like that, you're going to see it much more easily. It's just your eyes, and as soon as it, or if you want to focus on the one right there or something, that's okay too, because that's really the direction. If this one's easier for you, that's fine, but your move out of this gate is going to be a little to the left because you have a gate empty here, and that's going to give you more elbow room. And again, 125 to the inside, and I'm hoping like heck you'll be able to outrun. Yeah, it just takes off. Yeah, so it looks like a nice clean run.
We think the top end.
So you think
around the majority of the track, I should try to stay in that third gear. Plus classes that you know at Loretta Lynn's.
Doing the Ken Roczen move.
For my Yamahas, I set the map to aggressive mode. It's kind of a weird thing. I set it to aggressive, but I lug it. I don't run it high in the RPMs. I want the power there when I want it, but I don't want to be. I want to be in a higher gear all the time because it doesn't lock the suspension. And it's smoother. You know, you're not worried about the thing just lighting up. You know, kicking you sideways, spinning the tire, and it's yeah. So if you're revving out at 450 in second, yeah, you should be able to pull third, no problem.
Seeing those numbers,
not a sprint for 5. You got to do 15 here. So.
In any
you got it, man. Good luck.
Whether they wanted to work with
because you're by yourself out here, I don't really like all those ruts. I would move out 1 or 2 because it doesn't really matter if you're already on the outside. If you want to do outside and get a run, then I would move over 1 to give you an elbow room. The last thing you want to do is tangle handlebars with the guy next to you.
This event culminates with 2 long 25-minute motos on the very rough Ironman track. We'll be racing after this. Top riding talent from around the country gathered here to race in Indiana. It's the first ever Moto Scouting Combine East. I'm your host, Jason Wygant. We know some of the names. They're about to turn pro. There are others that are a few years away, and they'll all meet for 2 long motos here at Indiana with a lot of the pro teams watching as well. Let's get ready for Moto number 1. And it's Ryder DiFrancesco on the Kawasaki Team Green machine getting into the early lead. Ryder D, one of the big names coming into this event. Probably 1A and 1B in the favorites coming in. The other rider is right there with him, Chance Hymas. These are the two favorites, and they're already battling Kawasaki teammates. Jaden Clough, great job there at the number 3 spot, keeping these two big names honest. And yes, in the amateur motocross world, these are household names. Ryder D against Hymas. However, they've really never raced each other. This year, Hymas was at expert level, whereas Ryder D just transitioned into the big bikes, was in the intermediate class, and then Ryder D missed the big Loretta Lynn's Amateur National with a broken leg. He's healed up, he's back, and the 23 of DiFrancesco ready to battle his teammate Hymas for the first moto win here in Indiana. It's the battle everyone wanted to see. The two Kawasaki riders on the same gate in the same class, racing against each other. Where at most amateur races, they would be in 2 different divisions. If you watch our Loretta Lynn's coverage here on MAV TV, you saw Hymas nearly won the Pro Sport Championship. That is the top level of amateur racing. So we know what he's capable of. If Ryder D can match him, that says a lot. You go a little further back, you'll see some young riders even on the old 125 two-strokes. Everyone really is here to learn. Gavin Towers and Daxton Bennick having a good battle here. Towers on the 50, the 241 of Bennick. Now at this combine, they really stress learning, working with the coaches and trainers and nutritionists and the media portion of the event, and they try to put a little less emphasis on the actual result of the race. But you know racers are racers, and when you get them out there on the track, they all want to win. You can't turn that off. And thus you see DiFrancesco and Hymas really pushing each other. It was also interesting to see they pit out of the same truck with the Kawasaki Team Green folks, working with the coach. They both ended up on Chad Reed's team, so they've had to spend the entire weekend together, even though they know they're probably each other's primary rival to win the event. That's part of professional racing as well. You'll often see teammates using the same coaches and trainers, also trying to beat each other when the gate drops. All part of the experience here at the Combine. As Bennick and Towers, who are considered just a little bit younger group. Oh, here's your battle. They're a little bit younger than these two. So they're 3rd and 4th. That's a good measuring stick also for them, as Hymas, out of Idaho, continues to put the pressure on DiFrancesco, who's out of California. I mentioned at the top of the show, this is what a lot of the, oh! And down goes DiFrancesco, and Hymas is going to inherit the lead. So speed-wise, DiFrancesco is able to match Hymas, but he makes the mistake, and that's going to make all the difference. Oh, I got to give credit here. It's Jaden Clough still running in the number 3 spot. We saw that battle with Bennick and Towers, but Clough is holding them at base. So Jaden Clough, great job running in a podium spot for this moto. Hymas has gotten away now that DiFrancesco made the mistake under pressure. And these are longer motos than these riders have ever run before. So the pressure and the fatigue going to be a factor, and there it is. Hymas has got the first moto win here at the Moto Scouting Combine. He's going to head to the podium for a quick interview and a brief chance to cool down before Moto 2. It's the same way that the pros would do it on Saturday. Clough holds on for 3rd over Bennick and Towers. You see the rest of the results here, and the riders will quickly, and I cannot emphasize that part enough, try to tell their team what the track was like, what they want to do with the motorcycle for the second moto, get rehydrated and cooled off, and try to reset. And that includes young Ryder DiFrancesco here, who let that one slip away with the crash. It's Gavin Towers. You see Bennick over there on the left. They're all top 5 riders. And it's this compressed schedule, taking the emotions and the adrenaline all the way to the top, then trying to rest, and then get back out there for moto number 2. It's a similar process to what you would do in the pros. A lot of the workshops that they had throughout the weekend were also designed to fill in the day to make that time crunch feel real. And we're already back on the gate for Moto 2. I think that might have been Kimball Jett in the red gear, got the whole shot, then quickly overhauled by Bennick. And is that Ryder DiFrancesco and Hymas up to 2nd and 3rd, very similar to what we saw in the first moto. So Benek will have his opportunity to measure himself. He's always been a little bit younger and chasing DeFrancesco through the amateur ranks through the years. So the KTM Orange Brigade rider out of North Carolina has a chance to prove himself against DeFrancesco again, and DeFrancesco trying to prove himself against Hymas. But these kids are all about 15, 16 years old, so it's hard to believe that someone could be considered really experienced or a veteran of the game. But these three have been at the top level for a long time. And there's Kimball Jett, who had that whole shot quickly into fourth. Benek really holding his own here. And where is Hymas? He's going to have a lot of ground to make up. So Hymas must have gone down. And yeah, we have him running about last now. So this is a huge shakeup. Hymas, who won the first moto, this is an opportunity for Benek or Clough or Towers, Ryder DeFrancesco. Any of these riders can take advantage. And Hymas is considered the top talent coming into this race. He battled with Levi Kitchen and Preston Kilroy for championships at the Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Championship. Kilroy and Kitchen have now moved to the pro ranks. We're going to see what Hymas is made of. How far through the pack can he come from last, while Benek continues to lead, with DeFrancesco applying pressure from second. And now DeFrancesco moves around Benek to get to the #1 spot, and this is his opportunity. If he goes 2-1 in the motos, DeFrancesco will be the winner of the first ever amateur motocross scouting combine. And that's the Godzilla jump at the top of that hill, and he and Benek negotiating it without problem. This is a nice reprieve for both riders. You have DeFrancesco, who did not qualify for the Loretta Lynn's Amateur National due to a broken leg, and Benek did race the event, but he was sick all week and he really struggled with the results. So this is their chance to show the industry again where their talent truly can bring them. A little bit further back, you have the Kawasaki's of Towers. There he is on the left, and Jaden Clough there in the center, going at it for third, at least until Hymas gets there. Hymas is really making tracks through the pack right now. But it's DeFrancesco now long gone, and that says a lot. After missing Loretta Lynn's this summer, no one really had a yardstick on where he was, especially as he was jumping from the Super Mini machines to the 4-stroke 250s now, and he has shown he has it as Clough and Towers continue to fight. Here is Ryder D, and look at the lead he has now. On Benek under fire, Towers has caught him, so a good battle now. It's all on the line for these two. It's Friday afternoon, the day before the pro race here at Ironman Raceway. Someday these kids will be the stars of the pro show. But right now they're just fighting for position, hoping to get noticed by some of the teams. If you're not on one of the teams, if you are like Ryder D, you're trying to show that they made the right move and to make that transition to the pro ranks that much better. And look, Hymas has now caught Benek, and I think Benek looks a little tired. These are long motos, and that's the idea. Push these riders like they've never been pushed before, and there it is. Checkered flag. Ryder DeFrancesco takes the overall win with a 2-1. Great job by Hymas to come from last to second overall, and Benek will be third. Towers, Clough, and Indiana's own Mark Finnis ends up just outside the top 5 in 6th. Finnis just jumping up from a 125 to a 250F for this event. So again, riders from different backgrounds, different stages of their development, and Ryder D healed up, and again, a force to be reckoned with in amateur moto. Moto Combine race recap. Ryder DeFrancesco showed speed until that fall, and that allowed Chance Hymas to get by and win the moto. DeFrancesco would pick it up in second and finish that moto there. Would come back to win Moto 2 when Hymas had a crash, and Benek was consistent enough for third. There's Hymas taking second overall. Let's check in with our winner, Ryder DeFrancesco, representing out of Bakersfield, California.
My name's Ryder DeFrancesco. My coach today was Chad Reed. He did an awesome job. Today went better than I expected. Started off practice, and then went into first moto, led a couple laps and went down, took second, but had a couple things to work on, and we put those things to work in second moto and came out with the win. But this is something special, and moving forward, obviously with pros and this building us up to what's coming is fun, and it's nice for these guys to do that. Next step is obviously gonna be tough, but I love grinding days out and having fun on my dirt bikes. So that's the biggest thing, and that's the reason I do it. But yeah, Chance Hymas is probably one of the better riders in the amateur class right now, and he's raced A all year, and I've raced B. So we came together today, and I came out the top step. So this is huge, and I've only been on the bike for a month and a half after a femur break. So I worked hard to get up to this moment, and like I said, I like working hard and having fun days.
Yeah, notice he smiled when he mentioned the hard work. None of these kids are afraid of putting in the effort.
Yeah, so my name's Daxton Minnick. I got Chad Reed for my coach, and it's been a really cool experience. The track, I think they could have picked really no better place than this. It's really good. The elevation's good. Had a lot of fun. The track developed good, and all the fans are pretty cool. I didn't think there'd be many people here, but there was. So it was good. Being on the podium was cool. So everything was good. They hyped it up nice. Loretta's just feels more amateur. This definitely feels like in between. Never raced pro before, but I could feel that. Definitely felt cooler to be here than Loretta's, and like an in between. And the motos are a lot longer, so it was good. I liked it.
So that's the rider's take. Let's check in with one of the coaches, the great beast from the East, Damon Bradshaw.
I think it's a great experience for the kids. I think it'll fill a little bit of void from them. I mean, we threw a lot of information at them in one day, and a little bit yesterday. So I think they go home, they get to absorb it all, and like I told them all, I said, if you guys can gain one or two things out of this that helps you succeed or makes your life and program easier, then it was all a win. So I'm glad to be a part of the first one, and I'm sure maybe we'll see if we do more. And it was neat kind of having a small group of kids. I kind of feel like I wish we had more time that we could do single stuff with them, because they all race against one another. So I didn't really expect them to open up to me in front of the guys that they race with. I think some of them were friends, but I just think back to my time of racing. You didn't really want to do that with your competition, but cool experience, and they were all smiling. I think they were super thankful. And you know, my kids were younger, and they were B riders. Some of them had just went from mini bikes to big bikes, so I really enjoyed that group. I mean, unlike like Chad Reed's group, I mean, the guys are there, they have it, and my kids have talent. But I think, to me, they were easier to maybe teach them something. I think maybe they were more receptive, because I think that elite group, they're kind of already there. But anyways, all in all, it's good.
And this is just a start. There will be a Western Scouting Combine from Fox Raceway in California next week. Hope you enjoyed the coverage. I'm Jason Wygant. Congrats to our winner, Ryder DeFrancisco.